Get 5 coffins ready.
MOBAs are hard. You're sat there trying to absorb and comprehend countless hours of information about who's good, what items are good, but most importantly, why they're good. In my opinion, the best thing you can do is equip yourself with a god who's not only fun and easy for you, but consistently good too, so you can focus on learning the game rather than trying to learn a bunch of different characters, who may or may not even be good. Today, we'll be talking about 3 gods you can equip yourself with to have the best chance of being impactful every match in the mid lane. The mid lane is all about a farm war. Being in the middle of the map means that the most amount of minions come to this lane over the course of a match, so whoever gets the mid lane gets the most amount of potential minion farm. Additionally, since it's the middle of the map, you have easy access to nearby buffs and XP camps such as mid camps and oracle camps, as well as quick rotations to things like Gold Fury and Fire Giant. So mid laners must have good wave clear, benefit from large amounts of farm, and have decent movement so that they're able to make the most out of their position in the mid lane. One of the easiest gods who fits everything expected of a mid laner is Persephone. Persephone is a god with exceptional range, easy to land abilities, decent safety, and a lot of lockdown in the form of her ultimate. Want to clear the wave? Press 1. Want to poke your lane opponent and an enemy during a team fight? Just press 1 or especially 2. Naturally, there's a bit of timing involved with their abilities, but it's really nothing you can't learn in a match or two, even as a new player. And her damage in her core kit is really exceptional given how easy it is to hit. And escaping is nice and easy too. Now don't get me wrong, you'll definitely throw you in the wrong direction sometimes, but it being a fast sleep that can be done both while facing opponents and while looking away makes it the perfect escape for a new player. The downsides with Persephone, however, are as follows. For one, her first ability, her most damaging ability, can be body blocked, or should I say, will be body blocked in major fights, even if the enemy team doesn't even mean to. This is an even bigger problem when you factor in her ultimate, which is another flaw of the character. Persephone's ult does okay damage and has interesting lockdown mechanics on it, but again, it can be body blocked, and once the game gets later, the deployable will be dealt with within a second so long as the enemy team are paying any attention. And if you do manage to lock down a target with your ultimate, as I mentioned before, her best follow-up can be body blocked by a tank. So Persephone is awesome since she has so many just click the button and it'll do damage type of abilities, but she also has her plants on top of that. It's very telling that I haven't mentioned her plants yet, because frankly, you don't really need to utilize them just to get by on Persephone. You can just start out by using your very simple abilities, and then as time goes on, experiment more with using your plants. I know that makes fans of the original Persephone design wince hearing that, but it's great for players who are just starting out on mages. I mean, how often do you hear, the most complicated thing about the character? Yeah, you can ignore it most of the time. So Persephone has a lot of easy to hit abilities, and a good escape, but lacks the exceptionally high impact ultimate that mages are known for. Well, for someone with a high impact ultimate, let's look back at the classics. And it's gotta be Poseidon. Poseidon's ultimate, the Kraken, is absolutely legendary. Knocks up, stuns, does 3.5 trillion million damage, is exactly what you think of when you think of a high impact ultimate. But naturally, it tends to be difficult to pull off, granted the enemy team has their monitors turned on. Luckily though, not only does this ultimate come up often with a low base cooldown, but Poseidon has ways of getting himself in and out of situations quickly with his second ability, which grants him huge amounts of movement speed. And a lot of movement speed means a lot of safety. Sorta. You see, unlike Persephone, Poseidon doesn't have any easy-to-use movement abilities, but not every god does, so Poseidon with this consistent movement speed from his passive and his second ability means you can learn how to use a mage with no movement abilities with still a bit of safety on your side. Not to mention it makes him a lot of fun to play. Poseidon's core kit and general playstyle is exceptionally simple too, even if it takes a little more finesse the better the opponent. Whirlpool, Kraken, that is about it. He teaches you the basics of playing at the maximum of your range, as well as how to pull off tighter combos, since you do want that classic Whirlpool Kraken to go off all in one fell swoop. And plus, he has some of the simplest wave clear in the books. In short to medium range matchups, just 3 the wave, and in longer range matchups, just 1 the wave. Super simple and easy to pull off. So Poseidon gives you a god that has great lane presence, amazing presence in fights with that Kraken, and just enough safety to scoop by. Although part of learning how to play mages with no movement abilities is, dying. Like a lot. So get prepared for that as well. So next up we want a god with a higher skill ceiling, but still isn't too hard to get into. For an honorable mention here, I wanted to put Merlin. If you want to talk about easy combos, I mean seriously, you just press 2-1 in every single stance and every single ability is an AoE. He has lots of flexibility thanks to his range and CC as well, and probably the most straightforward yet effective movement ability in the entire mage catalog. But he is a stance switcher and a weird one at that. If you're brand new to SMITE, but especially MOBAs in general, his stance switch ability will be exceptionally hard to wrap your head around in the heat of battle. Of course on paper it's simple, ult, then press 1, 2, or 3 within 1 second. But judging which stance you want as well as doing the actual mechanical work at the same time isn't easy if you're just starting out. So we want someone who has easy to land abilities like Merlin with a good movement ability and an actual ultimate we can use in a fight. So that'll be Janus then. Janus is hated by a lot of players for a lot of good reasons. When he's on your team, he doesn't really bring much in the form of CC, and he really only has 1 ability to consistently deal damage with. But his benefits are undeniable. Nobody moves around the map quite like a Janus can. And if you want an easy to hit high impact ability, boom, there's his 2. This is part of where his perceived difficulty comes in. You see, back in my day, the middle part of Janus' 2 didn't deal any damage, so you had to aim it very well just to deal damage at all. It was properly difficult, and getting the super impactful double projectile hit was even more difficult. Heck, it took time just to learn how to hit the entire wave with the ability. But now it deals damage in the middle of the 2 projectiles as well, meaning it takes about 1 brain cell to aim it. I gotta say, it's within the top 5 easiest to hit high damaging abilities in the game right now. A simple game plan too when fighting enemy gods. When the coast is clear, portal them, then 2. It easily half hits anyone. Then, when the coast is not clear, kick back, turn your monitor off, and press 2. You either poke someone for half their health or clear the wave. And if anyone tries to run at you, one a wall and get away. Or if you're in big danger, you ult away instead. Simple. Janus at the ground floor of skill isn't exactly something to behold, but he's still more than enough to get you by in mid. Then, as your skill increases, the more and more useful Janus becomes. You quickly go from only ever portaling yourself to portaling your teammates out of danger. You start by ulting out of danger every time to transporting your entire team across the map for objective plays, and maybe even sniping enemies from across the map as Janus too. Back when his second ability, took skill to use, yeah, Janus definitely had a barrier of entry. But nowadays, he's just a consistently safe as well as mobile and high impact mage. And even though people don't like it when Janus players use their ultimate for damage, at the end of the day, he's still a mage who can both teleport his allies in and out of danger, and kill enemies with just 2 abilities, all in the same kit. If you don't think Janus is a good fit here, I get it, but you might be overthinking the character a bit from a seasoned player's perspective. Sure, Janus can make some of the most ridiculous plays and outplays in the game once you're at high level with him, but also, you can just press 2 and do a lot of damage, or press 1 on a wall to get out of almost any situation. Those 2 things alone, on such a low cooldown, make him a great choice for new players, even if it may take longer to take that next step with him, to start really getting good with him, unlike some other mages out there. Basically what I'm saying is, so long as Chronos Pendant exists, Janus is a great choice for the mid lane. There are plenty of gods you could consider starting out in the mid lane for, but for me these 3 give you the best baseline of what you can expect from mages in SMITE. A spammy mage with easy to hit abilities, a low mobility but still fairly safe one with a high impact ultimate, and a funky mage with an easy to hit main damage ability but loads of headroom to make all sorts of crazy plays once you get more comfortable with him. So join me next time when I talk about 3 great starter characters for a lane just like the mid lane, only much less fun to play, the solo lane. I'll see you then, and thanks for watching.